course, Scott Basant. I don't even know if we're up to speed in terms of the government issuing proper job data, economic data, whatnot.
So.
We had ADP the other day, which is the private payroll. Not always the best indication of what we're going, but it's basically what we have. And we know the government payrolls probably are shrinking dramatically, particularly since we're at the end of the year, all those retirements, forced retirements, whatnot. We also know that manufacturing has contracted. We also know that, at least from the ADP, that small businesses are losing, are shedding workers at a increasingly rapid rate, which again is a problem of consolidation, of concentration, of economic wealth.
But there was also that Challenger data, you missed it, I think, yesterday, showing, which again, it's not the official data, but this is November layoffs. They had it at 71,000, and that puts it officially over the total of 1 million layoffs for this year, with the November numbers coming in according to their data. And then when you look at it in the same 11th month period in 2024, the layoff total is 54% higher. So it's bleak.
Things are bleak, and we just don't have the sort of traditional numbers in which to go by. But again, we also know that Black Friday, not a government indicator, but Black Friday sales were larger than they've been ever. However, we also know that there were fewer number of goods sold. So what you have is more expensive goods. And we also know from other data sources that a smaller percentage of the country is buying that stuff. And so that, again, is we have such economic disparity in this country that it is warping the traditional numbers that we have used to measure the economy, because you have a smaller number of people with more money. So they are essentially driving the economy, which leaves 80-90% of the people completely adrift. And they can pretend for only so long until this stuff catches up with them. It really can only catch up with them electorally at this point, because they have the ability. Inflation can keep going up, and Donald Trump is still going to put his guy in on the Fed. Here's Scott Basant with Andrew Ross Sorkin. Andrew Ross Sorkin is sort of like has always been sort of like the doula for the most wealthy in this country. Like, I remember back during Occupy, all the rich people, all the CEOs were calling Andrew Ross Sorkin saying, like, am I in trouble? Am I in danger here? And Andrew Ross Sorkin went down to Zuccotti Park just as a favor for all of them to find out if they were safe. And so he's still sort of serving this. And here he is at the New York Times Deal Book Summit.
Although he does bring out some statistics here that make Scott Basant look like his head's spinning in a bunch of different directions.
You've been talking about is that the regional presidents you think actually are not as independent unto themselves that you want.
Well, no. I think when I was on Squawk Box last week, Becky said, well, Susan Collins at the Boston Fed says this. And, that her people in her district are having an affordability problem. I should have said, well, she's in a red state, affordability is worse. In a blue state, affordability is worse than a blue state.
We can debate that, but keep going.
No, there's no debate. The number 50 basis points higher inflation, the 10 highest, the inflation rates, they are in blue cities, but
Just so you know, because I went to look at this, this is the Joint Economic Committee, since 2021. The highest inflation of the past 4 years has been in red states, especially Florida.
I'm talking about current.
Current. Not over the past 4 years.
Right. Today.
Okay. I would think 4 years would be a reasonable trend line to look at.
Today it is 50 basis points higher. So Anyway, and look, the people are voting with their feet. I have the American people on my side. That New York, Illinois, California, Massachusetts are depopulating.
And they're going to places in Florida, like Florida, where interest rates are I'm saying inflation's up 22% over the last 4 years.
Well, inflation is up 25% nationally, so it's lower.
I believe in New York it was 19%.
Sorry?
I believe in New York it was 19%.
I don't think that's right.
We can go through the math.
Okay. But
Okay. First off, Besant is probably talking about blue cities. That I would imagine inflation rates in Boston, New York, San Francisco, LA, Chicago inflation rates are probably higher than they are in, I don't know, Atlanta maybe, or in Houston. Because there's richer people there, and housing stock in these older cities, incidentally, is more limited. I have no doubt that is but it is such a piddling, and all of the stuff that the national government is responsible for is subject to inflation. I mean, to do it state by state is, I think, sort of silly anyways, when you're talking about the president of the United States. The states themselves do not have pricing power outside of maybe, we talk about regulating power generation and whatnot. I would also imagine that power generation probably a little more expensive in some of those red states than it is in blue states. But the state doesn't have the ability to regulate these things outside of housing and maybe power generation. But the fact of the matter is inflation is up. And I don't think it's going to, that somebody sitting in Alabama or Mississippi or in the red parts of Pennsylvania is going to go, well, at least I'm not paying as much. My groceries are up 15, 20%. My health insurance is up 15, 20, 25%. At least I'm not paying the same amount as those city slickers in New York City.
Well, the city slickers that Scott Besant is encouraging to move to a red state, like he did, the relatable thing, this incredibly ultra wealthy man who now lives, I believe, in Charleston with his male partner, just in case people in the Republican Party forgot, he's a gay Republican. But he had the ability to do that because he's an ultra wealthy person.
He's a simple farmer.
Yeah, right.
That's right. He's a farmer. He's a farmer too, right?
He's a soybean farmer.
And it's also just like not true too. I mean, there was a CNBC analysis showing that red state inflation that I think Sorkin was citing there is higher in red states right now.
I mean, it's bad everywhere. That you can't if you rent or even if you're trying to buy a house, you can't do it because capitalism has failed to provide it.
I'm glad you brought up housing because there was a Washington Post article about this like a month or two ago where they showed that where the sharpest increases in monthly housing costs were last year. Monthly costs for housing, Florida, where the median household income in 2024 was $77K, saw the greatest spike. Then North and South Carolina,
only,
Georgia, Wyoming, Mississippi, and Alabama were among the states that saw faster growth in monthly owner costs in 2024 than the years before. And then all of the data on where, just in terms of like proportionally, inflation is hitting. It shows like Texas right now and Florida are the worst. Florida was mentioned by Sorkin, but also Tennessee, Wyoming right now. And some of the places where it's best proportionally to live for costs coming down, it's California, New York, Maryland, and Illinois at the moment.
California Resistance writes, I'm back and forth from Palm Springs and LA. Groceries are definitely more expensive in LA than in Coachella Valley. Yes, I mean, I think things in cities are more expensive generally than they are in more rural areas.
Also, so is labor, so you make more money there.
I mean, it costs more.
Yes.
The supermarket's paying more in rent. The labor is more expensive. The transportation probably a little bit harder.
Just uproot your life. We're not going to do anything to fix inflation. I hope like that's what you're getting from this or this interview. It's on you. Just go uproot your life. Leave your friends and family, quit your job, and move to a red state.
If you're making money with money, which is what all these people represented by Scott Bessent are doing, they're not making money by making things. They're making money with money. You don't care about inflation. You don't care at all. It actually might be good for you.
Yeah, exactly. But I just want people to sit with the callousness of that rich guy sitting on that stage and just telling you to move because he's not going to. They're more concerned about getting rich themselves than addressing your cost of living. It's just so incredibly out of touch.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.